All right, welcome back to the Alliance Tournament. I'm Kill2 here with Shadu. We have 1 minute till the match starts between Perihelion Alliance and Sev3rance. On your left for Perihelion. Gosh, I hate that name. 2 Slipners, 1 Claymore, 3 Cyclones, 1 Scimitar, 2 Sabers, and a Dramiel. That was a mess. And on the right, something real interesting, Proteuses, 3 Proteuses, a Damnation, which we haven't seen so far in this tournament, a Brutix, Guardian, Cormorant, and 3 Daredevils. How do you feel about this one, Shadu?
So what this is blasters versus autocannons. Both teams are obviously rush setup. There's no reason to be otherwise set up for this particular match. The Sev3rance team has gone in at 0 on the beacon, while the Perihelion Alliance is slightly off, except for Chromophone, who made the mistake and went to the beacon at 0, right at the jaws of those Proteuses. He is going to die very fast when this match gets underway. And from there on end, it's going to be pilots versus pilots. If these Perihelion Minmatar setups can keep out of range of blasters somehow and not tripped into range, they have a choice, and the match is now underway.
Yeah, and already Brutix taking a ton of damage. If you guys see the Cyclone piloted by Kadra on the left, it's taken half of all of his damage. We haven't even seen a penalty so far in this tournament, I don't think, but that is usually what happens if someone moves before they're supposed to or makes some other minor violation. So that's why that looks like that. And they have picked him as the primary, even though, like you said, Gramophone was warped right to 0 in the middle of the rest of the Sev3rance team. So Brutix down, Kadra Cyclone following shortly, it looks like. And also, we have the blasters versus autocannons, as you mentioned. We also have armor versus shield, so kind of another...
Absolutely. So far, autocannons are winning this match as the first Cyclone goes down. There could be something weird going on here, like that Cyclone pilot intentionally taking a slight handicap in case he was better set up on the tank than Chromophone. Who knows? The Proteus is taking heavy damage and going into half armor, while the Scimitar for Perihelion Alliance is now going to go down. And from there on end, it is a slight advantage to the Sev3rance team, since they still have a logistics ship while the Perihelion has lost theirs.
Yeah, right. That's a huge kind of divergence in tactics there. Sev3rance taking out the logistics, where Perihelion choosing to ignore the logistics. So first Proteus about to drop. We did lose the Scimitar, and like you said, that will definitely hurt the tank for the rest of the team. Another, I mean, I guess they have 3 Daredevils, which is a ton of tackle, but obviously the Scimitar got too close, which he doesn't want to do. He obviously would rather have him away from the fight if possible.
And I think Perihelion has made a mistake here in their primary calling, since the Sev3rance team has a Damnation giving armor-specific bonuses, while Perihelion only has the speed bonuses. They should have taken that Guardian out, because it is doing too many reps to sustain the damage from these dying Minmatar ships.
I feel like we are seeing some of the advantage and flexibility the Minmatar team brings. They're able to take out tacklers a little more effectively. As we saw 2 Daredevils go down for Sev3rance, and it kind of seems like their DPS has been a little more regular because of the increased range and increased speed, whereas the Gallant team's been kind of spiky. They bring something down real fast, and then they have to spend a little more time moving to their next target.
Absolutely. That's the downside of the Galanta rush. They have to be right on top of the Perihelion ships, and as we are seeing on the picture-in-picture, Perihelion is using the speed to their advantage slightly, and they are getting out of range for some of those Proteuses, and we're seeing some split up from the group happening here.
Another kind of dichotomy here between these two teams. We have Perihelion fielding exclusively jamming drones. The field is just flooded with Vespa EC600s. Whereas Sev3rance is fielding all armor bots. So
that might be the reason why Perihelion didn't go for that Guardian. They have all of those drones on the Guardian, most certainly, and that Guardian is probably not getting any reps in at all. So my apologies to Perihelion. You are actually doing this very well, and as we see, the match is very quickly going in the favor of the Perihelion Alliance.
Yeah, I'm glad I decided to check that. That's crucial. I mean, that was what gave them the ability to dictate kind of the course of this match. They had a lot more control over, yeah, the logistics, you know, the support of the other team just was nullified, and that's just such a huge advantage.
Absolutely. It looked from the stream PC here and everybody watching it that this was going very much towards Sev3rance's favor there slightly. But Perihelion taking another surprise out of their bag. They have done very well in this tournament, better than probably most would have expected, me included. Certainly, I made the first call on the first day wrong and called it in favor of their opponent. And Perihelion coming up with a brilliant strategy. They're fielding their ships, they're flying their ships very well. One pilot made a mistake early on. And the second one moved during the countdown, but they recovered beautifully from that and are taking this match by a storm.
So, confirming from earlier, there was a movement violation. Whether that was intentional or not, as Shadu mentioned, could have been possible to save the one that was down in the middle of the arena. But in any case, there was a movement violation. That's been confirmed by Sunicha. And also, you know, talking about controlling the match with the ECM drones, I feel like in this match particularly, it was really important because not only has Sev3rance field logistics, which many other teams have, but they've also brought the Damnation, which was cap transferring to the Guardian. And it kind of seemed like they were really banking on a lot of efficiency. You know, they wanted to tank. It wasn't like the logistics was kind of an afterthought. They wanted that Guardian to support everything. They brought the command ship for increased resistances on the rest of the fleet, and they brought the cap transfer. So really, really disruptive.
They made one crucial mistake, though, that they will learn bitterly from this match.
Smart bombs.
That Damnation. Smart bombs, dudes. Why weren't they there?
Yep.
This match would have gone very differently if that Damnation had even fielded one medium smart bomb.
Yep, absolutely. All these, you know, all the jam drones, like we said, are mediums. It really doesn't take much. These matches go, even without any logistics, the match went quite a long time. And by then, it would have been no problem at all for the Damnation to clear this off. I'm sure, the Damnation had cap transfer. Really, the rest of his high slots he doesn't need them. I mean, there's no problem him fitting the smart bomb. He can tag along with the Guardian, no problem. It seems like a pretty straightforward thing to do, but probably just something they didn't think about.
Absolutely, that's a crucial module that they were missing and probably lost the match partly because of that. They also made an interesting call to go for that penalized Cyclone instead of the Cyclone that was right on top of them. And of course, with the problem with the blaster boats is you gotta travel that 30 km, 20 km, or whatever range they were at. So that was felt to me a little bit like a honeypot. A trap. Of course, the Cyclone probably started to burn away right away, and that to me seemed a very odd call from the Sev3rance team. But you know, you live and learn.
No, I agree with you. I think that is a weird call because not only is the range really important, the time it takes to catch up to the target that was missing some HP, but also really the sort of killing ships in this is determined by sort of rates, you know, damage rate versus the repair rate, and the total HP isn't a huge deal. We saw him spend a lot of time tanking even though he started at half HP just because the incoming logistics could make up for the DPS for the most part. So starting with the thing that's close to you seems fine to me. I mean, I think it would have been a better call for them.
It would have been a much better call because as we saw at the beginning of the match, it actually took quite a while for the Sev3rance team to drop that Cyclone, even though it was half shields, half armor, half structure.
Yep, so just half this Damnation left as I don't know if any of you the rest of you guys remember, but there was a tournament a while back. It could have been 6, but Damnations are really popular, and those things stay on the field forever. They're much worse than Drakes. So it'll take a couple seconds to wear him down. Sev3rance did manage to get some kills, but unfortunately I don't think in this group it makes any difference. Perihelion will be moving on to the finals tomorrow, and you know, as Shadu said, they're kind of continuing to impress, so it'll be interesting to see how they do going forward.
Absolutely. Perihelion has done very well in this tournament, and if this is one of those surprise teams that comes out every year, certainly Perihelion is going to be that surprise team from this match. It's going to be very interesting how they perform on Sunday.
Yep, for sure.
And as we see the last Damnation now from Sev3rance team in half hall, and he is gone. And with that, the match is over. Perihelion advances to the next dropout stages, and with that, we are going to pass you back to the studio.